When I step in that arena, I want to give everything I got. If you walk out of there knowing you give everything that you had, no matter what the outcome is, then you can sleep at night. That drive home knowing that you didn't do your job or that you let your own mind get in your way, that, well, I better not do that, I might get hurt. That drive home with that kind of guilt on your mind is a whole lot harder than going home with a busted leg or a sore spot. I'd much rather go home limping, knowing I did my job, than going home feeling good with the regret of knowing I didn't step in to take that shot for that guy. Yeah, so just starting out, it's just a lifelong dream. It's something that I had completely always just been consumed with. From the time I was a little bitty baby, I was trying to paint my face and be a bullfighter. And, I always wanted to go hang out. I always wanted to go see the rodeo clowns, the bullfighters. There was guys that stood out. I had those NFR bullfight tapes that I just watched over and over and over. And, I really, really enjoyed watching Frank Newsom. Really studied Joe Bumgardner. To me, that's two of the best guys that's ever done the game. I really tried to pattern myself off, and then getting into the bullfights, the freestyle bullfighting. I really liked how Frank worked bulls. Really loved how Ross Hill worked bulls, Sam Gress. Those were the three guys that I would get their film and chop up and make into highlight films, and that's what I studied. You can see a big part of their style and my style that it's cool to see, but those are the guys I looked up to, and those are the guys that I wanted to fight bulls like. And long story short, getting to meet Frank Newsom at 10 years old and being just 6-7 miles from his house, I found myself over there daily. And whether it took working all day, building fence, moving cattle, jobs that wasn't fun, but if I could get just that couple minutes of talking to him and get something, how'd the weekend go, or man, what about this, or what about this move, or what do you think I should do here? If I could get just a couple minutes, then that full day's work was worth it, because man, that was my hero that I was getting to be with daily, and as time went on, our careers went on, and got to travel the country with him and got to fight a lot of bulls with him. The definition of tough is Frank Newsom, and that's who I wanted to be like. Those are crazy times that come with that, and hardships and learning things the hard way. Of course there is, but deep down I knew what I was set out to be, what I was going to do, and the hard work, the dedication, the countless hours of driving to just go fight a couple bulls, make a practice pen. And I knew I had to have that. I knew I had to have the experience. I knew I had to get that kind of exposure, Tough times make great bullfighters, and I think that coming up, getting around hot bulls, going to every practice pen, just anywhere that I could be in the arena with a bull, it was worth whatever it took to get there, because the experience, it all boils down to the difference maker of where you're going to go in your career. I think a guy has to be willing to go get in them rough spots, get into that uncomfortable side of things in order to grow and become better, and that's bullfighting.
U.S. Border Patrol bullfighters are truly lifesavers when it comes to the sport of bull riding, and Cody Webster is one of, if not the best in the game.
You said it, one of, if not the greatest ever, and you see exactly why. Comes crashing down.
It's a very dangerous game. There's injuries are a part of it, but it's been everywhere from a reconstruction surgery of having my entire ankle put back together, numerous broken ribs, broke arm, lots of broke legs, lots of stitches, knockouts, just everything that kind of comes with the game. But injuries are something that you're not going to get away from, and it's something that you've got to learn how to deal with, not only physically but mentally, because you get wiped out, you sure enough get busted up, break bones. You always got to just know that the good side of bullfighting, the fun, the traveling the country, getting to live out your dream, it always has to outweigh the fear and the danger and injuries. And I think the guys that can separate the two, the guys that can mentally stay where they're at. And, you know, I'm a bullfighter. I know what I signed up for. I know what's possible. I know what can happen. And I think that's something that a guy has to accept. But at the same time, you know that there's going to come a point where you're going to have to pay the price. You know, usually when I'm tightening my knee braces, I'm putting on my cleats and putting on that chest protector. You know, that's when you know the game's fixing to change. And you got to check all emotions, no matter how bad your week was, no matter what you have going on in life. You're hired to do a job, and that's to protect the bull riders. Yourself, your body, your well-being goes out the door, and at times it's at all cost. Getting run over, a bull attacking you, a bull getting you, breaking bones. You know, I know that's all a part of the game, but knowing that somebody is putting their name on your back, somebody that is trusting that your abilities is to keep them safe or alive. You know, I think the fear that I run into is not making that save or not making that right step and something really bad happening to somebody. It's a deal that it's kind of hard to explain. You know, I can't really put into words where I go mentally, but if something's going to happen, it can happen to me. And you pull your hat down tight and you go take care of business. January, you know, we get rolling. It's such a crazy schedule, but, you know, we start off in New York City, go right into Denver, right into Chicago, usually go to Georgia, and then right into Sacramento, California, take off from there, go to San Antonio, Texas for a month, and then it's right back to all the PBRs and the bull ridings. And, you know, summertime rolls around. That's when all the summer rodeos start kicking off. And, you know, right now I'm working somewhere around 180 performances a year, clocking in somewhere between 52 to 5,700 head of bulls a year. You do the math, that's fighting bulls almost every other day of the year. Being a road warrior, you know, it's got its prices to pay, but it's what I've always dreamed of doing. It's what I've always wanted to do. And I've got to travel the country. I've got to see the world. I've got to do things that most people don't ever get opportunity to do. And I get to do that on a weekend basis, getting to travel and do something that I love so much, you know. So it's a hectic schedule. It gets really long at times, especially if you're busted up and sore. But at the end of the day, it's so worth it. You know, it's so worth getting to get out there and just absolutely live out your dreams.